What's up? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, is my background too bad? You know what I got going on over there.
What?
You know what it is? It's right over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's really dark back there. So
It's like a 6-hour project, 6-hour air carve. So, what's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Busy week here in the shack, like really, really busy. I know some of y'all were out Friday at the event, and I really enjoyed it. So that's why those of you that were there got to make the thumbnail of tonight's show because I think that's pretty awesome. So yeah. So what's that you showing off right there over your shoulder, Steve? I just happened to notice that you had strategically parked a car right there behind you. So what you got going on over there? Pause that.
Well, yeah, no. Got a surprise from our friends at X Tool this week. I mean, they reached out to me not that long ago and said, "Hey, we've got one of these reserved for you. Do you want it?" And so I was really shocked because we've been not hearing a lot from them lately. I mean, kind of telling them no on their marketing stuff, but yeah, had a freight truck show up Thursday. They could have come Wednesday, but I couldn't sit around home waiting for them all day Wednesday. Thursday, I was more open. So they came, and of course, I don't have street access from my shop. It's off the alleyway. And so that's always fun getting anything that comes in on a pallet back here, which is why I have a 5x8 open frame trailer. So yeah. He was kind enough I was able to back up to his lift gate. We were able to get his gate right down onto the trailer. He wheeled it right on there. And then I had to schlep it off myself because, I don't have a forklift.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I've got the X-Tool P3 in the shop, and I've only briefly used it. I've been getting caught up on a few other things. And I will say it is nice. I mean, X-Tool does things nicely. We've said it before. They're like the Apple of lasers. And so I'm just kind of playing around with it. I did do a couple of quick tests with it. And so I started my usual cut test. And it kept blowing them out. It was getting all the way up to 70 millimeters a second. And I'm like, all right, it's not reaching that speed on these small cutouts. And so I ran one of their little graphics there. That's their logo. And I think this was at that 70, I think. And you can kind of see it's just trying to poke through in the corners. I slowed it down to 50 and it did come out, but I had to push a couple of these interior ones. But this one dropped out at 45 millimeters a second.
Is that eighth inch or 4 inch?
This is 3 millimeter Baltic birch. So it's
okay.
1/8 inch ish. A little harder than your typical craft plywood. And this is, I mean, my old original 50 to 60 watt eBay CO2 laser at its best was pushing about 22 to 23 millimeters a second on this, but I ended up backing it off a lot of times to about 17 just to get consistency through the random bits and bobs. So being able to do it at 45 with this one, and I mean, granted, this is 10-year newer technology, and between a 50 to an 80 watt, it's a bit of a jump, but so yeah, I'm going to be playing around with that. They've got a lot of cool automation with it. It's got LiDAR, but it also has multiple cameras, and it has 2 views inside the cabinet while you're running the job. And so you can monitor it on your screen through the X-Tool Studio and switch between the two, which is kind of cool. So
yeah.
So yeah, we'll be looking at that. And the one thing I I don't know. We'll see if this changes my mind. They sent the conveyor set up for it. It is better than the P2. It has a cartridge that gets loaded in, and then there's some brackets that kind of quick connect on and off, and then there's some extension rails and such. So it sounds like it's easier to take it off than the P2 and the P2S was, but we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of conveyors, but we'll see how this one works. And they also sent the RA3, which is pretty cool. It kind of comes in a foam case and things magnetically attached with a few, thumb screw hard point connections. So it's easy to kind of put it together, tear it apart, put it back in the case, which is nice. Now, how well it works, how well it aligns, we'll see. So I got those two things to test with it along with, everything else. But I am kind of excited because it is about a 35 to 36 inch width. And, for like model airplane stuff, that gets me into the next length of balsa to be able to cut parts and such. So it is a nice step up that way. So
yeah, looks interesting. Brian says, Steve, I thought X-Tool didn't like you guys. Where's David's? Well, first of all, we thought the same thing. So we hadn't heard a whole lot out of them since the contracts that they sent out that we, opted out of. So we hadn't really heard a whole lot from them. I will say this, my contact that I've had for years with X-Tool apparently no longer works there. And so I've started over with a new person this go around. Like after the contract thing, my guy disappeared. So I've been dealing with somebody different. So I don't know what my situation is, to be honest. I do know that they haven't completely disowned me because I have heard from them. But I did not. There is no P3 sitting anywhere in the shop, which I don't. I want a bigger CO2. I don't want one that I have to do the conveyor thing on though. I'm still. I'll wait and see what Steve says about this conveyor, but I'm not sure I'm sold on that just yet. But no, like I said, apparently we have not been kicked off the island. We were just isolated and quarantined for a short period of time. So
maybe it was just your guy that got kicked off the island, because my person never sent me a contract, but they didn't offer me anything most of the year. But they've been focusing so hard on these larger industrial things, and even this one, it's kind of getting up there in price out of your typical hobbyist, small business. Sure, it's around
you kind of got to be on a business
$7,000
on that one.
So but it's not the $10,000+ machines like that apparel printer and the metalworking machine. It's a little more obtainable, and it is a substantial jump up over the P2 as far as in working area and power and capabilities so far. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm curious to see after this is shiny and it's got a cool LED screen and all that stuff wears off, how it actually works in the shop. They did send the cart width as well.
Yeah,
for a 250-pound machine, makes it fairly easy to move around.
Yeah.
So, and then it has the IF2, their little in-fan or inline fan deal that Bluetooth connects to it. So
yeah, so you added a little ballast to the bottom of it there.
Well, they do give you extra clips so that you can put like a board there. And yeah, I've been needing to shuffle some things around. I've been trying to make room for this now, with trying to get rid of one of my other equipment rack kind of things. So yeah, we'll see it. We'll see how it pans out. I'll be doing some work with it, testing out the various features and I'm going to have to figure out something big. So it might be, some fun large scale Christmas projects to try out that conveyor, and see maybe they'll sell me on them if it works well. But
yeah,
the fact that it's easy to take on and off makes me feel better about it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Philip, I haven't heard from anybody at Longer. on the UV printer. I don't know why, but I'm not really, even like with the UFI and all these other printers, they sent them to some of the like folks that didn't have anything to do with the UV printers, but I haven't heard from anybody on them. I don't know. Like I said, maybe my flavor's not for everyone, which is fine. It keeps me from getting too busy right now. So, yeah, Tony, some of the stuff that they're coming out with is getting more expensive. I don't know that they're quite up there with Epilogue yet, because that machine would be what, $30,000 if it had an Epilogue sticker on it.
Well, it'd be 5 figures at least.
Yeah, because like I know when I was pricing one for my buddy Tim, I think it was 24,000 is what they wanted to get just to get into the Epilogue market. But it is an expensive machine compared to, say, open frame gantry machines and stuff. So it is like Steve said, it's more the prosumer business purchase in my opinion. But you know, there are some of us that are kind of on that line to where I'm not willing to go buy, you know, a $25,000-$30,000 machine, but you know, maybe that one. So they're still attainable. It's more attainable to me than that. What is it? That Metal Fab, whatever.
Yeah,
they just lost me with that. I mean, that's just I can't. David Pingle's asking, does the P3 use light burn? And I know the answer to that. I don't even got one. You could probably control it with light burn, but you're going to lose like every feature.
Actually, they don't even state that it is compatible with Lightburn on their website.
Okay, so they just did away with
it. Yeah, it does have. It's a DSP controller. I don't know what style. So that's up there with like the Ruidas and such. But the way everything works in this, I really don't think. I mean, you might be able to move the gantry. That's about it. You'd struggle with the focusing and everything else. So it really does lock you into Xtool Studio. Can't even use the older versions of XCS. You got to use Xtool Studio with this one. So
yeah. Yeah, Brian, it's staying busy. That's for sure. But hey, I'll take it because I've been waiting on the opportunity to be able to do my own thing for a while. So I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, Mark, the OhmTech machines, they've kind of OhmTech's kind of got my attention from my budgetary restrictions as well as my workspace and power requirements. They kind of fit the bill for where I'm at right now in my adventure. Thunder, I would love to go Thunder. Don't get me wrong, Thunder would be a great purchase, but I don't know that financially speaking, I'm quite ready to step off in the Thunder just yet. I just don't know.
Yeah, the what is it? We keep talking about them. The OhmTech, the mid range.
2440, I think it is.
It's a 90 watt.
Pronto.
The Pronto 40 is the one that I feel would be kind of the one I'd like to look at as far as like if I was needing a bigger, slightly more powerful than, you know, like the 50, 60 watt desktop CO2s that we've been working with. If I wanted to get back into a bigger cabinet style laser, I think that would be the one I'd really want to look at. Its normal price is right around $5,000. I think right now it's on sale for $4,000, give or take.
Yeah, they've knocked it down. I keep looking at it, and every time I look at it, I'm like, you know what? That's one reason why I was trying to get some room opened up here in the shop. Is I have been trolling Marketplace, hoping I'll get lucky and find one of those where somebody like, you know, bought it and then decided they didn't need it or something like that, or maybe even a Thunder, you know. So I've been trying to clear me out a little bit of room for it just in case, because I keep getting jobs in that I could use it on, and I could take more jobs, you know, if I had something a little faster at times. Now, I don't need it every day, but if I could, I've got a budget because I don't need it so bad to go spend an arm and a leg on it, but it would come in handy enough that I'd be willing to sacrifice a little bit to go get it. So we'll see. Right now, I am in the process of updating my OMTech Polar because after the other day doing those pins, I realized that I really wished my OMTech Polar had a red dot pointer. And I got to looking around, and I have found one that is an aftermarket add-on that is made by, just a guy in his little side hustle shop that looks really, really promising. And so I've ordered it, and it says it's shipped. I don't know if that means he's printed a sticker and put on it or what. But I did email him. He's a small business guy, just like us. And I basically was like, hey, I really want this thing. And so I got it, and I'm gonna do a video using it and all that stuff. He's not giving me an affiliate commission or anything. I wanted it for my machine. He did give me a little bit of a discount on the purchase, which I was happy about. That saved me, $15-20. But I've got it coming, and I'm gonna be installing it on the Polar Plus, and that'll give me a red dot on it to use for when I'm doing tumblers and stuff like that for framing.
So does it go? Is it like a beam combiner style that goes through the lenses?
Yeah, it mounts on the left side of the gantry. The Polar Plus, the tube is in the gantry.
Yep.
So on the left side where the window is for the exit for the beam, where it goes to the nozzle.
Oh, so it's not through all the mirrors, but the
No,
last.
It's between it would be mirror 2 and 3.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So the left side of the cabinet to the gantry, it goes right there. It mounts on the lip of the frame of the gantry and sits right in line where it shoots out across there. And I watched the install video, watched them running it. I like the way it looks. So we're going to try it and see. There's a little bit of electrical as far as like tied it into the controller so that it comes on, but nothing too overwhelming. So it'll hopefully be here soon, and I'm going to work that in and get that installed because the OMTech, the Polar, especially since I put that new power supply, it has become my go-to CO2. And I've got, like I said, I've got others, but that one checks a lot of boxes for me as far as what it's capable of. And so that's one reason why I'm leaning towards later on, maybe trying to get, a bigger OMTech, because I'm really digging it. And after having an issue with it, having to reach out to their support, having decent luck with their support, I'm like, you know what? It's that might be what's, the way I'm supposed to go. So,
yeah. No, I've been talking with them about some stuff between the Polar Light and the Solus and other things, and we'll see. That price, I mean, even that price right now on that 90-watt Pronto had me thinking, but I'm also like, I need to make room first, because I've been trying to, I did the review on you kind of see it hiding back there, the K70 from IKEA, which is really nice machine. It actually works fairly well. Autofocus worked great, air pump and everything worked great, but it takes up a 4 foot by almost 5 foot table for 800 by 850 working area, which is nice, but I don't use that all the time. And so I gotta get some of those things kind of situated. Actually might be working with my friend Mike on a kind of a tilt table design, possibly, to see if we can make something like that, to where for a smaller workshop, you could kind of compact it down into maybe a 2 foot depth and then fold it out, and it's a 4 foot depth with, some legs. So we'll see. I've got him thinking on that as well. And maybe we'll figure that out for some of these larger lasers that can be mounted, at least diodes. That's not something I would do with a CO2. It's just too much weight and too many other things that are going on with that. But yeah, it's like we always say, excuse me, it's nice to have it. If you've got the room, it's nice to go bigger, because there's always that time you wish you had it.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'm trying to get a picture finished here. All right. So ones of you that may or may not have known, we had our Had our meet and greet this past week, and it was awesome. I had a good time. Got to meet a lot of you guys that I'd never met, and got to meet a few folks that I had met before. Had a blast. As you can see, lots of orange shirts at the event the other day. We did get rid of a bunch of machines. 6 lucky individuals in that crowd right there left with a machine they didn't have when they showed up, and a few little giveaways, little takeaway projects and stuff as well that were on the table that I took with me as more or less as decorations, because you know how it is. You wind up with all those little test projects laying around that you didn't make to sell or anything. So I had a few of those that were taken and given away. And also, if anybody was there and lost a set of earbuds, or at least one earbud and a charger, send me an email, because there was a earbud. It's not an Apple, whatever you want to call it, but similar to the Apple buds that was found and turned in. And I've got it, and I'll mail it to you if you can identify it. So if you lost one while you were there, let me know. Shoot me an email, and we'll get it out to you. It's in the house. I didn't bring it with me. But yeah, so it was a fun time. I actually felt pretty good about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. My little old channel, there were several channels there that have quite the following, and we represented well. So I want to say thanks to you guys. It was fun. I had lost my voice from talking to everybody all day long, but it was a great time. We actually met up the night before and went and got something to eat at Neighborhood Grill. Several folks got to find out what a hot hamburger is. Unfortunately, the restaurant that I chose that was open at that time of the night did not have chicken livers. So they missed out on the chicken livers. But maybe next time we can do it. And everybody's hitting me up saying whenever I come to see you up there in Minnesota, that means you got to have a meet and greet somewhere. So I don't know how big your shop is, but when we get ready to come up that way, we're gonna have to get with somebody that has a space big enough so we can meet up.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I can pack a few people in here, but parking is going to be the biggest issue. I mean,
well, hey, I'm gonna go. I'm telling you, I was proud. We represented at the meet and greet the other day. It was like a sea of orange. It was awesome. So
surprised you didn't have county sheriff going. We had some inmates escaped.
No. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun to do a meetup up here at some point too. This time of year it gets a little tricky because never know how the weather's going to be, but we'll keep that in mind. I mean, I can definitely source a location around here to do something. And who knows? I mean, possibly I could even rent some space at the community college and maybe even bring some machines to work with or something. But we'll see.
That's what me and Brandon were talking about. Surely a man with your connections can come up with something. So,
but yeah, no, that would definitely be fun, and glad it worked well down there. Glad some people were able to go home with some fun new equipment to get some use. So
yeah,
be excited to see what comes with it. I think there was one question on the P3 we missed. It was whether it has a chiller, and it does have a compressor style chiller built into it. Doesn't hold a whole lot of water compared to your external ones. So we'll see. I mean, I think the chiller itself holds roughly 1.2 liters, give or take. And then of course there's the piping and the tube that stores some as well, which is a little bit less than say my 5200 on others. So we'll see as it gets, into the warmer months, if that's an issue or not, but it does have an active chiller in it. And it does have the red dot alignment beams for the mirrors, which is super slick. So that is definitely a feature. So that's something that's not on that Pronto, and that doesn't have the chiller. So those would be things like, aftermarket add-on type things. So that would, add to some of that cost, but yeah. Anyway, What else we got?
Yeah, the red dot is definitely one of those things that I like to have in a machine, or at least like in a CO2. In a blue laser, you can just turn the power of the dot down and use the blue dot. That's fine with me. But with the CO2, you can't see the beam, so you have to have that red dot or a blue dot or green, purple, yellow. I don't care as long as I can see it. I need a dot. You know what I mean?
Well, and for on the CO2s, mirror alignment is probably the thing that
Yes.
trips up so many people that, I mean, I remember the first time trying to figure it out. It is such a frustrating process, but when you have that beam integrated in at right, basically on mirror one, it's basically hassle free at that point, so.
Yeah, a lot of them, it actually is basically just a nipple on the end of the tube.
Yep.
So it can be used with every single mirror. There is no alignment on that you can't use it for. So yeah, I would love to see that in whatever machine I got, like the the Hurricane, the Adam Stack Hurricane's got a red dot, and that's really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, you're seeing it on more of these lasers, because that is something that, like I say, if the person can't get the beams aligned, they're just going to hate the laser from the get-go. So
yeah.
Yeah, Scott says, do the meet and greet in February. We can park on a lake and go ice fishing. Depends on the winter, I'll tell you that. We've had some sketchy ice the past couple of years, but yeah, but definitely probably more in the summer months.
Yeah,
we'll make it easier.
Well, we'll have to see. Oh man, I gotta move around. It's been a long day, sir.
Santa's laser engraving. Still looking at 3D printers as possible add to the shop. I see filament printers and saw resin the other day. Is filament replacing, or do the two have different uses? Yeah. So there's the resin style printers, which it's kind of it prints inverted. So it has a build plate that dips down into this vat of UV resin, and then there's like a LED type screen that lights up wherever it wants the resin to cure onto that layer. And so it'll dip down and cure that layer. It'll dip down, cure the next layer. And it just kind of works its way. And then you have your thing kind of grow like I'm going to get the wrong one. Is it a stalactite on a cave?
Yeah, the tights are the one that hang from the ceiling.
Right. And they're very cool. The nice thing is they can do better detail. They sometimes need less supports for certain things. But they are kind of slow. And in the past, they've been limited to a pretty small build area. They've been getting bigger lately. So they're really popular with people doing like jewelry making, where they need like a lost wax casting of something, or, figurines where they need really small detail. And or just some real intricate parts that maybe they have like a funnel or a piping system that FDM just isn't going to be as reliable for or as accurate for. But you kind of trade that detail for speed. And then there's a whole other process. I mean, the resin isn't great. You really don't want to get it on you before it's cured, because it's actually not good for your body to absorb. And so you have to pull it out of there, pop it off there with gloves, rinse it off, and then set it into like a UV curing tent, or at least out in the sunlight for a while to actually fully harden. So it's a different process, but the people who get the resin printers are going after really high detail, whereas the filament or FDM printers, you can get decent detail, but a lot faster speed.
Yeah, that's to me for what I do, I think the filament printers are better, because you don't have to deal with all the chemicals and stuff, and you don't have to smell, because everybody's told me that, like the ones that I have talked to that have the resin printers say that there is like a chemical ish smell that kind of follows them around, whereas you can print PLA and PETG inside your house, and nobody will ever know that it's going on. I mean, you get right up on it. Maybe you can catch a little bit of a odor, but as far as like, you're not going to walk in the back door of the house and go, "Oh, somebody's printing with a 3D printer."
Yeah.
It's not that noticeable.
Yeah, there's definitely different, and that's true of like the UV printers as well. The UV make,
Yeah.
if you're running that sling bed and doing a print, especially one of the 3D textured prints, you really want to vent that. You want to be in an area where you can vent that out, because it will be very kind of chemically industrial smell to it, and so neither one of them is that great.
You think you're living through an addition, Breaking Bad episode?
Well, kind of, but yeah, it's definitely a different style, and it really, I would only recommend it if you really need that detail. So, well, there's a nice kudos for your community. Tranquil Mentor says didn't want to leave Clanton.
It's pretty cool here. Well, I live out in the woods from there, but yeah, that's where we hang out most days. Wow, sleepy already. 7:30. Good night.
Jerry says you already got the LP4 up and running.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, it's a good little machine. That LP4, like, to grab something and go and be able to just use your phone or your iPad. If I had to use a mobile app, I will say their mobile app's pretty fluid once you figure it out. That whole speed and power thing, it takes a minute to get your head wrapped around it if you're used to Lightburn.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of my biggest negative on Laserpecker is their machines are pretty decent, but their software it's not terrible, but they just use different terminology and different workflow for it that it trips me up each time. So
yeah, you have to sit and think about the settings, because it's like, okay, is it speed?
yeah.
Or is it power? Because it's like, it's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it. Now, their desktop app wasn't as bad as far as to figure out. It was a little bit easier, but I still liked the LP4. I like the little mobile app because I could like take my finger and move everything around and frame with it like that.
Yeah, you can do that in real time.
Yeah,
so.
It actually moves.
Yeah. Yeah, the LP4, because that was the 10 watt blue and the 2 watt IR, kind of like the X12 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like a nice real sweet spot for a mobile laser like that. You don't necessarily need more power than that on either one. At least not that I've noticed. But I don't do as much of the metal engraving as others might, so.
Yeah.
And yeah, the LP4 will run on Lightburn, so you always have that option as well. So a lot of people excited. They said it was a good crowd, had fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
No, I was just going. Oh, Jack says the red dot stopped working in his CO2. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where you don't need it, but when you have it and then you lose it, it's kind of like the heated seats in your vehicle stop working. You're like, oh, do I need it to survive? No, but it sure is nice in the winter. I say that as I don't have them in my vehicle. They're in the wife's vehicle. Let's see here. Brian's asking, David and Steve, thoughts on the 549 P1S combo starting on the 28th?
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. And I haven't played enough with it, but I did add that Sunlu heater, the AMS heater, to mine. I did have one filament break off in the tubes, and now I kind of see what everybody says about the hassle, like the redesign where they made those tubes accessible without having to take the base out. So that's definitely a reason to maybe look at the the AMS Pro, but for $550 on that one, that's really nice. I did also print a riser for the plate and the AMS because otherwise you got to keep that door open when printing certain filaments and such. But yeah, I'm liking that printer, although the new one with the better camera and better airflow and other things. There again, do you need it? No. But there's some of the niceties that would, I'll have to see what the price difference is there. But no, I'm really enjoying the P1S. But that being said, the A1 is still, if you're just printing PETG and PLA, there's really no reason to get the enclosed one. And that's a really nice printer. I did finally print the top mount for the AMS for mine. So getting that going this weekend.
Yeah, Brian says his wife literally asked him if he needed a second one so he'd have a print garden. And this is what me and Brady were talking about earlier. There's this farming. They're having a supper and they're inviting all of our area farmers to attend this little dinner thing that they're having. And I asked her, did that include me? Or did I have to have a server farm or a print farm before I could go? So if I had two 3D printers, I'd have a print farm. Then I would technically be a farmer,
right? Sure. What are you farming though?
I don't know. Benchies, maybe.
Well, it is nice having, if you've got the space, it is really nice having more than one printer because on some of these, they're multi-plate prints to get something done. And, it's like when I was printing out the riser or even the AMS bracket, I was able to have two printers working at it to cut that time in half. So there just been some complex prints that, you're waiting on one and then you got to start the other side. So yeah, once you, again, do you need it? No, but if you've got the space, the time, the money, 2 is a garden, 3 is a farm. Okay. So what's 4? Is that a conglomerate?
Blessed, I do have a laser farm.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do.
Let's see.
Oh, there's this one.
Oh,
yep.
I think we clicked the same one.
Stacy's asking, what was your honest opinion of the OMTech Solus comparable to the F1 Ultra? So yeah, I have the OMTech Solus. It is a very comparable in size to the F1 Ultra. I think it's a bit heavier. And it is a 30 watt fiber and 20 watt blue diode. They actually have different versions. The one I have is a 30 watt. They do have a 20 and a 20 and then up to, I think, a 50 and a 20. But I would say it's very comparable to the F1. They have their own software for it. What do they call that? It's OMTech Studio or
probably. They're all calling them something Studio now.
Yeah, and the software is very similar to the ComMarker because they both are like a BSL source laser for the controller, and so the software works pretty well. The only thing I've reached out to OMTech on this, and I'm waiting to get the accurate stuff back, is it has a camera which is pretty decent, and I was able to get that set up in Lightburn and calibrated using the typical grid pattern and such. But their software, I'm still trying to get that to calibrate the camera correctly. So I haven't been able to use some of their, like their batching features to see how well it does that. Not that I don't think the F1 Ultra does that very well. I've yet to see a laser that I trust the camera enough to reliably do that. But no, I would put it, the fact that it works very well with Lightburn. The only caveat in Lightburn is switching between the fiber and the blue diode laser. You actually have to go into like the laser settings and change the laser type. So you can't set up a job to say layer 1 do this with the blue laser and layer 2 do this with the IR, the fiber laser. At least yet. Maybe they'll add some macros or something in for that, but it's kind of a manual software switch that you have to do.
So could you just create 2 profiles, one for a blue and then one for a fiber, and then just switch the profile? Would that work?
I tried to do that, and for some reason I want to say it didn't quite work, but I may not have, I might not have hit apply, or I might have clicked on the wrong things. But that was kind of my idea, is just to set up 2 different device profiles, 2 different machines, and be able to switch between them. But it would be nice if that was just a little more seamless within Lightburn. Now in their software, it works great. You just tell it what layer, here's the settings, use this source, and it'll switch between the 2. So I do. I mean, it's still on the bench here, and I do want to do a little bit more with it. I'm just waiting for OMTech to get back to me with that the camera calibration stuff. But yeah, as far as capabilities and whatnot, it works great. I think what you're giving up is Xtools software is really nice, and it works very well. It's a little bit easier to use than Lightburn for some people, and it's a little easier to get started with the lasers if you're completely new to them. I think that's where you might, if you're completely new to them, that would be a benefit on the Xtool side.
Yeah. All right. So Bill Flesher says, hello from Oklahoma. Just ordered my first lasers, Adam Stack P1, just to get my feet a little wet. Little background. I have a 4 foot by 8 foot CNC router I use for cabinet making. Is it good to, I'm guessing these meant learn on, talking about the P1. You've had that little P1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one that looks like the Sculpt Fun iCube, right?
Yeah, it's like a miniature iCube. Yeah, it's a decent laser. And then of course you can switch modules. They have the IR as well as the regular blue diode on there. It doesn't have an air assist option, so as far as cutting, it's probably not. It's going to be kind of limited. And the only thing I would say too is that it's kind of tight in there. So when you're putting material in there and you're trying to frame and whatnot, it might be a little bit tricky to see depending on how you have it set up and whatnot. And there's no camera option on it either. But as far as does it function like your typical diode laser, just on a smaller format? Yeah, it works well. You can do a lot of fun engravings with it, from wood, slate tile. You can do the painted ceramic tile engraving type things. If you want to do some playing around with some cutting, get yourself some like 16th or 8th inch basswood. Most hobby craft stores should have that Midwest brand basswood in stock in those thinner ones. So yeah, check those out and have fun with it.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Bill Hunter's asking what would be the laser of choice to make things akin those challenge coins. With challenge coins, you're going to have 2 approaches. You're either going to have to go with like a MOPA, like a 60 to 100 watt or more MOPA, or you could do it with a spindle CNC, such as any of the main CNCs. Now with a CNC, you're not going to get as smooth of results as far as your finish. So you'd have to have like a tumbler or some kind of buffing wheel or something like that to smooth them up with a little bit. But yeah, the challenge coins, typically, if you see those done on a laser, those are going to be done with a MOPA. And reason being is MOPAs interact with metals a little more efficiently than some of the others. And if you can get your hands on a MOPA that you can address the Z, that'd be even better. Like the new the new Xtool machine, and I think the Solace, doesn't the Solace allow you to address the Z as well?
I mean, it's motorized, yes, so you should be able to. I just don't remember in their software, because a lot of them will have like a step down, so many pass type of thing. So,
but yeah, that typically those are going to be fiber machines.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're doing challenge coins, you're looking at minimum 50, 60.
Since a 60 would be as low as I'd go.
Yeah, really ideal. The more.
I've got a 60, and it still requires patience.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Jerry Richmond. If you were going to do clear acrylic plus wood, would you choose a CO2 or would you choose a fiber so you can do additional materials too? If you're planning on cutting, you're very limited on your options. You're going to have to go with CO2 if you're planning on cutting clear acrylic. Marking clear acrylic can be done with a fiber or a blue diode, but you're going to have some type of layer of interaction, whether it be paint, Sharpie, something. You're going to have something on there. So if you're really wanting to do clear acrylic, you better stick with a CO2. If you're doing real small stuff, you could go with a UV. But if you're going to do a lot of cutting, then you're going to want to stick with CO2.
Yeah. Oddly enough, and I didn't know this until I was looking at the specs, they have a 5-watt IR module that you can add on to this P3.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Seems like the oddest thing, but
yeah, it's like somebody was just like, "Hey, we got a bunch of 5-watt IR modules left over. What can we do with them? Let's stick them on this thing."
Jack says 6 printers is an obsession. So let's see. I'm good. I can still pick up another 1 or 2.
I don't have room for 6.
I am threatening to send the A1 Mini up to one of the boys' rooms if they, get it out of the way. Big Mike says, you started with a P1S but added an A1. I feel like the A1 handles poop better on multicolor prints. That is true. The P1S it goes out the back and has a little bit of a chute before it even gets to the whatever poop chute you print. Whereas the A1, you can I've printed a couple of them that it just knocks it right out and just drops off. It does tend to handle. I would agree with that. If you're doing multicolor, it handles it much better.
Yeah. Jack says Z is not critical for coins. It's not critical, but it makes things go a lot faster when you can keep that beam in focus. Because I've tried it both ways with a machine that didn't step down and with a machine that could step down. And the ability to step down every pass when doing 3D stuff makes a huge difference. Now, if you've got enough power and the right lens, then yeah, it'll, you can get it deep enough. But like this little guy right here, as deep as this was, doing it with a fiber, it took a while because I had no way of like the beam, every layer you engrave, you're getting further and further out of focus. So, if you have, the right lens and you split the focus and all these different things, then yeah, you can do it. But in a perfect world, you would have a machine that could walk that Z down and you'd get a lot more efficient, a lot quicker results.
Yep. Santa's Laser Engraver is talking more about 3D printers and mentioning my review in the Flash Forge, but that Bamboo might win out. They're both really decent machines. I think a beginner with either one would have some luck. I think the edge would probably go to Bamboo. The A1 is much quieter than the Flash Forge. The P1S and the Flash Forge, I mean, the P1S is enclosed. If I did the enclosure kit on the Flash Forge, it might be a little bit quieter, but the A1 is one I can run in my office behind me, while I'm taking meetings at work if I need to. Whereas the Flash Forge, I'm not sure I would run that one while I needed to be on a meeting. It's not like loud and like put hearing protection on, but it's just the fan noise and whatnot on those are just a little bit more. But the Flash Forge is nice if you're looking for a budget multicolor printer. That's definitely one, and I would definitely give it a couple days because you're going to start seeing more Black Friday sales coming. I think I got an email from the Flash Forge person saying, hey, I think the 28th, I think the same day with Bamboo, they're running some sales too. So definitely shop around, take a look at it. But yeah, I've been using the Bamboo printers for over a year, and definitely for someone just getting started into them, you're probably the most hassle-free one out there. But I also have been pretty happy with that Flash Forge.
Yeah, Tony's asking, can a Wise security camera be integrated with Lightburn? Not that I'm aware of, no. Now, if you wanted to use it to be able to observe your laser from across the room or something like that, maybe. But I don't think. I think Lightburn only works with USB cameras, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I have a few Wise cameras. I was just trying to think if any of them can be direct connect and act like a webcam. And basically, you need it to your computer needs to see it as a web camera that's directly connected to it. And most of my Wise cameras are just set up, on wireless. So, and then they might not be the best at it either. They kind of have mine are older. So the refresh and whatnot might not be the best on them. But if you're looking for something, check out either David's or my, Amazon store. We've got some Lightburn compatible cameras listed in there that do work well.
Like that one.
Yeah. And technically you can get any camera to connect with Lightburn as long as it's a webcam, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to calibrate well. So,
yeah. I've used just regular Logitech webcams. Work pretty good. They're a little hard to mount because they're not made to be mounted, on the roof of an enclosure. But they will work. But these little board cameras that I've been using, I've got 6 of them in service now, and I love them. They work great.
Yeah. Dave Groves commenting, have you seen Sam Craft's wall of printers? Yeah, he's got multiple walls. He's got like a whole corner and then another row. But he's really dug in deep on those various jigs and such. I did a video with some of them, and actually I'll probably be doing more with them as we work through some of these other fibers and whatnot. So he definitely has gotten good use out of them, set them up as a print farm. And that's the thing too, is a lot of maker spaces, libraries, or even print on demand through the internet. I mean, if you don't want to deal with it, but you need an occasional 3D printed part, there are ways to get it from people who, operate these businesses. So, but that being said, for a few $100s, if you've got the time and the space and the money for that, they are kind of fun to play around with. And you don't even need to know 3D modeling. You can find a lot of very useful things and a lot of useless tchotchkes to print out. Yeah, that's Zentero saying that an older Wise cam could be turned into a webcam with alternate firmware. I remember that now. So it technically might be possible. I just don't know how well it would work if it has the resolution and can get calibrated. But be worth a try. Only out your time if you've already got the camera.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the focal distance and a few other things too. You might get it connected, but it may be too far or too close. What's it like? 16 to 24 inches, I think, on most of your webcams. Yeah, Norbert's in the comments, it looks like.
Norbert's saying is the older ones, like V2 and such, but not the newer ones. Yeah, mine are V2 and older. I haven't bought any new ones in a while. But for a budget, if you just want to have a budget Wi-Fi camera that you can drop in your shop or garage or wherever, they're a cheap way to do it. Get a SD card; it records locally. You don't even have to pay for their cloud service to load the things, and you can get various alerts and such. So, excuse me. Anyway, yeah, looks like we're getting caught up on comments.
Yeah, that doesn't happen all that often. So if we bypassed you and forgot about you or didn't see your comment, drop it again. Let us know. Oh,
you gotta stop yawning, man.
I can't help it. I can't sit. I'm sitting still too much. I gotta get up and move around. I'm used to being on the move, dude. When I sit still, I go to sleep. I'm like a shark, baby. Oh, you got to keep moving.
I think that's called narcolepsy.
Oh, it may be. No, it's called. I'm used to staying on my feet moving. That's what it's called.
All right. Well, we are midway through.
I guess we can just sit here now. 'Cause nobody can go play.
we haven't pushed it for a while, but and honestly, I should probably update it. But we do have, speaking of meetups and gatherings and whatnot, we do have a map for our laser engraver community that is kind of born out of these coming up on 3 years of live streams here with David and I. And so if you want, you can click in the description of either of our videos, either of our streams, and go fill out a form, and you can drop your pin there. You can use your business name, screen name, or whatever, and just like city, state, or city, country, or however it works. And we put those together on the digital map, and you can see who's near you. But also, if we're traveling somewhere, if there's enough people in the area, we might try to do a meetup and such. So definitely check that out, as well as our Facebook group. The Laser Engraver community is out there too, where we encourage people to share some things, or if you've got a question that requires more photos or video, that's a good way to share with it. But also just to kind of get inspired or ask questions there when it's not during this live stream. So go ahead and talk about your map.
Yeah, this is from the meet and greet the other day. So this is kind of the where everyone that stopped by and spoke to me and talked to me. Well, I'll say everyone. A lot of them chose to put a dot on the map. There were several that their dot was already kind of taken. But yeah, this was the best I could come up with the morning of the event. I do plan on taking the map and doing a little work to it, maybe adding some engravings to it, and keeping it here in the shop, hanging on the wall somewhere, so that in the future we can have a record of each meet and greet. So this is going to kind of be a theme now. Every time I do one, I want to burn me a map to a piece of plywood and have people put their dot, and then I'll put it on the wall. And as we do them, we'll just continue to add to them there. So.
Cool.
This one's gonna be the 2025 shop clean out. May made it. Craft Acropolis, whatever, Chilton County meet and greet. So yeah. Chris, if you make it over here, I will add another map, like another page.
Not to scale.
Or either I'll just put an arrow and be like 6,000 miles this way. Dot.
Yeah. Eileen mentions the only negative to Bamboo Map Maker World is if you want to sell items, it requires buying commercially from each maker with a monthly fee. That depends on each person that puts their designs out there. But yeah, I mean, it's true of a variety of things. And there are third-party sites as well, where they have the same thing. You can buy it to print it yourself, but if you're going to resell it, the items you make from that file, they ask for a different one. So not abnormal, and just something to kind of expect, and keep in mind with your pricing of things. So
that thing's noisy.
Yep. Ooh, a little high pitch there.
Yeah. A little noisy. I might have to pause it again. I was going to let it run, but it's got a little dry spot on it. And I have put that silicone lubricant, whatever you want to call it, all over it.
David Almond is asking, have either of you had issues with the X-Tool AP2 filter? Mine started shutting off 5 minutes into cutting. So far, not impressed with X-Tool support.
The AP2?
Yeah, the multi, with the cyclone filter and the others. I've had some initial connectivity issues, like where it doesn't necessarily want to kick in right away. But I also have it kind of, my S1 in my basement is sitting on kind of one of those metal tool cabinets, and the AP2 is kind of below it. So that might be giving me some connectivity issues, but once it's connected, it seems fine. I don't have it turning off into it. So I don't know. I don't know. I think you can go and check the accessory information and see if it's disconnecting or if it's throwing an error, like it's not like one of the filters or something. But
I should say there's settings in. I haven't really messed with the settings since the new studio came out because I haven't used my S1 lately. But there's settings in there. I wonder if it's just trigger it and then cutting right back off. And I'm kind of curious which machine are you using, because I know a lot of the older machines, there was some firmware that you needed to get it to effectively work with the machine. Because when I first got it, what was it, my F1 Ultra didn't, like, I had to update the firmware before it would work with it. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe you might want to check, make sure you're running the most recent firmware for your machine. I haven't used mine lately. I'm gonna have to try it and see if the new software is giving it an issue or whatever.
So you're saying he's using it manually as he has a P2 33 watt, so it must be the ASMR. Yeah, if it's in manual mode, then because I've turned mine on manually and I haven't had it shut down. I would wonder, you might want to. Boy, I don't know how you would check that though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're not using the software, those buttons now, I think there is a way that you can set it to where it stays on. Has it got a timer on it? I don't remember.
I don't know that it does just from the buttons.
Mine's sitting right there beside me, but
because yeah, if you don't have it connected to an X-Tool laser, you can't get any the warnings from it. So, I don't know. I mean, are the filters? Is it new? Have the filters been used quite a bit? Because if they're getting clogged up, it might shut down due to a lack of airflow. So, yeah, Medic. I know the original AP2 won't keep up with the P3. They have their AP2 Max or whatever. Is that the one do you actually have the Pro version that's meant for the P3 and it's not keeping up with it? Because that'd be unfortunate. I've had really good luck with the original AP2 on the S1. I've been running it for a good year down in the basement. I should do a follow-up on that, but okay, so David said he's adjusted the fan speed, cleaned the cyclone, and added new 1 and 2 filters. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Hopefully X-Tool can get back to you on that, because if you've cleaned the filters and replaced a couple, or cleaned the cyclone and replaced a couple filters.
Okay, Miles is saying his doesn't time out using the manual mode. For some reason, I was thinking there was a timer on it. Maybe I'm thinking of another machine. But, I don't know. I haven't had that problem. Like I said, mine uses a little USB dongle and connects to the S1. So it comes on and off automatically, and I haven't experienced any issues with it.
Yeah. Yeah, hard to say. It's unfortunate that, like, if you had an X-Tool machine that could connect to it, it could at least maybe tell you if it's shutting down because of an error, like an airflow error or a filter seating error or something like that, because it will do some of that stuff. But without that, I don't know how you would get those error codes. So
yeah, that's one thing that I never really thought about. Yeah, it works with other machines, but like you said, what happens when you have to diagnose the issue?
Yeah, it's too bad, because it on the, like I say, on the S140 watt, I've been really happy with it. There's been a couple times when I feel like maybe the airflow isn't quite enough, but my wife hasn't complained that the house smells like smoke because I'm running the laser in the basement, so that's pretty good. Okay, Medic. Yeah, the original one. Yeah, I've been told that the original AP2 can't keep up with the P3, so, which is unfortunate. I'd love to try the new one with this, and or look at a more industrial filter. But yeah, they're $2,500 for that. The other ones I've looked at are right in that price range. I mean, I've said it before. If you're looking to filter and not vent your laser stuff, be prepared to spend some money on that. So yeah, I love mine too when it works. So hopefully they'll figure that out. So Ken mentions, unless software has upgraded a lot, I never liked the XCS, maybe because I started with Lightburn, but I always found XCS to be more difficult to use and non-intuitive. I think that's common among people who have used Lightburn because it is so developed. There's so many tools in it. And XCS, they try to find the balance of having a variety of tools, but keeping it beginner friendly. And I think I had that conversation with someone recently of like, intuitive is kind of dependent on your experience. Sometimes, it's like for me, switching CAD programs is a struggle because I'm used to the hotkeys and, the shortcuts and the windows and the menus and everything in my other software, that it feels like I'm just hunting and searching for things and until you really get used to the new software. But I don't disagree with you. I do like Lightburn a lot. A lot of times I'll design in there and import into XCS if I need to. But I also force myself to use it and just to kind of make sure it's not my old dog new tricks bias.
Yeah. Eileen is asking any suggestions for learning to make your own 3D prints, good instructional books or videos. The internet is full of videos. It's going to depend on what your software, whatever software you're using, whether it be Fusion, Tinkercad. There's a lot, Mesh Mixer. I mean, there's so many different 3D design softwares out there that you can use to either design or modify 3D print files, that you just got to figure out which way you want to go about it and then just learn from there, because it's a wide, vast sea of different approaches.
Yeah, that's 3D modeling. I mean, the funny thing is for me is that my brain works better in 3D than 2D. Going back to my model airplane roots, I have some friends who can design some very well detailed designs, just old draftsman style 2D plans with all these parts. And for me, I gotta model it up in 3D and make sure things interlock and line up and whatnot. And so that's what kind of got me going on SketchUp way back, 15 plus years ago. And so kind of depends a little bit on how your brain works. So I would watch a few different people. So I've done a couple videos on Tinkercad. There's a lot of people who have done videos on Fusion. There's Rhino. There's a number of different 3D modeling tools, and you can even just use the Bamboo app to do some basic stuff as well. So kind of watch a few of them and see if any of them make more sense to you. And some of that can be the presenter as well, but the wrong software can really frustrate you, but yet the right software, everything clicks and you can make things work. So
Ryan, for some reason, every time I get one of those little things in the mail, they strike me. They won't let me be on the jury.
Maybe they will now.
No, they still won't. Like, they won't even take my wife and kids. So when they ask you, like, the first sheet, one of the questions is, do you know or are you related to anybody in law enforcement? And you say yes, the defense is going to automatically move to strike you from the jury.
Well, now you're just giving tips. That's one of those things that, I mean, I've been put on jury duty twice. I've only had to go in once. Up here, they do it, and this is for the county. They you do a 2-month stint, and you got to call in and see when they need you. If your number is called and such.
Yeah.
Out of those 2 times, I've only had to go into the courthouse once, and then of course I had to fill out all the paperwork, and then they had their jurors and their alternates before they even got to me. So I didn't even get into the courtroom or see what's up. It would be an interesting experience to serve on a jury at some point, but man, that feels like a 2-month sentence where it's like I can't do anything. Because moment's notice, I might have to go to the courthouse the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I had matter of fact, me and my daughter both here recently got one. I just called them. I'm like, hey, and they're like, yeah, we'll just throw that away. You don't even need to show up. So yeah. Now, depending on the case, like I said, the prosecution may want you on the jury, but the defense is going to do what they can to get you off of it.
Yeah. Well, let's see. A lot of talk about different programs. Yeah, Blender's one that's another 3D modeling one. My son started teaching himself that to play around with creating assets for video game development. So there's a lot of tools out there for 3D modeling. But yeah, the ones that, like Mark says, the Tinkercad, Rhino, Fusion, even SketchUp, they're more CAD based, which you can usually put in actual measurements and angles and things like that to help you out. But if you're doing it if you
pitch and pull and twist and
so if you're trying to design like a thing that you're going to assemble, you're going to cut out parts and assemble, that's one thing. If you're going to design something really cool, like you say, with the extrusions and the lofting and everything that you're going to 3D print, you're not necessarily tied to the same physics as you are with flat plate material that needs to interlock.
See, I didn't even I didn't even really think about Blender. My daughter, of all people, was the one that was like, Dad, just take it and put it in Blender and you can flatten that right out. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, how do you even know? But yeah, she was right. Because she showed me how to do it, like on her iPad, I think it was.
Steve V8581, good name, as David would say. Have I ever competed in the Ohio RC Flight Fest? Looks like fun. I've gone to Flight Fest. It's not explicitly a competition. They have some variety of events going on. But that is, put on by the Flight Fest or Flight Test team. And what I like about them is they're very much into kind of like what we do here. They get people into creating and designing and building their own airplanes out of simple materials and foam and bamboo skewers and whatnot. And so I like that organization and that group. And so, I did make it out there, I want to say 2018-ish. And it was fun, but it was also chaos. They have a combat session where I think they had probably well over 100 airplanes in the air. And it's the kind of thing you launch up there knowing that you may not get anything back because collisions are likely and fun. So, but no, that is a fun time as when the weather cooperates. There's been a few times they get rained out. So
yeah. Deficit of attention says I use a shop vac that sits outside for exhaust on my Rolly. I did the same and I think I went through 2 shop vacs, taking the filters out of them and just basically using them for blowers. But the one thing that I will tell you is if you run them as much as I run them, the shop vacs will spin out eventually. The brushes will go bad in them because they're not made for running that long. They work, but eventually they will die and you'll have to replace it. So,
yep. Yeah. So
the fans last a lot longer.
Yeah, that and a lot of your cheap big box store shop vacs aren't, they need a certain amount of airflow.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you stall them out sucking up water and there's no airflow going over it, they'll burn that motor out real fast. So those motors are are a little prone to it. It definitely works. You've done it. I've used them quite a bit for dust extraction and even vacuum table. Now I used one with a bypass for the vacuum table on one of my CNCs, but yeah, you gotta be mindful of those.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll do a good job until they quit. So, 'cause I went through two, or I think I went through two, I know, and then I replaced it with a fan.
Oh, a lot of people familiar with Blender.
Yeah.
Ordinary Woodworker says, been learning Fusion 360 for a couple months and created some useful 3D jigs, but it's not easy to learn. I think it is overkill for hobbyists. It can be. It's one of those tools that is there's so many tools, there's so many options, there's so many things you can do in it that it's one of those softwares that you almost want to turn on like the basic mode if they had one.
Yeah.
To just kind of not be overwhelmed with like, okay, here is the 20 menus and the 15 sub menus and everything and whatnot. So you're not wrong. And it's one of those things I think you kind of need to take a simple project and just kind of dive into it. And then with any software, just commit to trying to figure out with a complex enough, but not too complex project that you can have some success with, and just see if you can work through it, maybe with some tutorials and such. I'm a hands-on learner. I mean, I can be lectured at, but at some point I'm like, all right, get me in the lab. Let me actually play with this and figure it out.
Yeah, I use Fusion, but now I probably only use like 10% of the tools. I mean, there's so I'm just barely touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the tools that I use. But the projects that I make are fairly simple. Like some of the more complex, I may use the lofting tool or something like that, but it's, for the most part, I'm just laying out a drawing and extruding it. That's about it. Doing a little bit of some round overs and maybe occasional loft, and that's it. Kevin's asking, what do you clean soot off basswood with? I don't use a whole lot of basswood, but if I use wood at all, basically I'm going to touch it up with a sander and some 220 or 120, depending, and some compressed air if I need anything beyond that. But typically when I hit it with my sander, my little DeWalt sander vacuum will, like, it'll knock all that dust loose and it sucks it right out of there. Now, just for good measure, it's not a bad idea to hit it with some compressed air, but typically once I hit it with the sander, it's good to go.
Yeah, I do that for the surface stuff. On the edge, if it's a little heavy on the char, I might take a microfiber cloth and just run it along the edge just to kind of knock that down. But yeah, usually for me, it's 180 to 220 grit sandpaper. Don't push into it, but just let it float over it to knock that stuff down, and then dust it off with some compressed air.
Yeah.
Raymond Riley is asking, I'm new to lasers and bought an Ohmtech Fiber MOPA 60 watt. I'm using Lightburn and have walked through a tutorial and not had good luck. What is a good resource for educating myself without spending a fortune? YouTube videos, if you can find the right ones. I know not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody teaches the same way. Some people will gloss over some details that are very critical to the operation, and others will drone on forever. I was doing that the other day. I was just trying to find a simple procedure, and it was like 5 minutes of legalese warning of this, that, and the other thing, and then like, okay, here's how you do it. But
I'm kind of curious what the problem he's having with it is, because that's the ohm test. It may be the same one that I have, but yeah, it's not terribly difficult. I mean, because it came with it. I mean, it's set up pretty decent. But there is that's that one that has that one tripping hazard that they didn't properly mark the button, if you remember, that stumped me for about 3 or 4 days, which is the fact that you have to push that button after you power it up to get the source to engage, and the button is not clearly marked, and it doesn't really go over what that button is in the book. So if you're looking at, I don't know which machine you have for sure. The one that I have is, let me see. I think it's called a GA60, maybe.
Yeah, he says figured out that button after watching your video.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've got it. Like I said, I've got a little bit on that one. I've got some other stuff on some Galvo machines. There's a few channels out there that do a lot with Galvos. Just got to figure out which one works for you. Like Steve said, there's some folks teaching techniques are a little different than others, but the biggest thing that I will say is speed and power aren't nearly as important on a MOPA as Q pulse and frequency. Because you can pour 100% power to it. If you've got the wrong frequency selected or the wrong Q pulse, it's not going to do anything. So you're gonna have to get your head wrapped around the whole frequency and Q pulse thing before you start getting to where you can guesstimate your settings. If not, you're just going to speed test everything, which is a pain. No, that's the com marker. I think I had a speed and power test, but I haven't shared one for the MOPA yet. Maybe I need to do some more MOPA videos. I've got a few where I do different things. If you've got a particular product that you're trying to engrave, search my videos for that, because a lot of times I don't put the name of the machines in every video. I just put the name of the, whatever the project is. So maybe you'll get lucky and I'll have something.
Yeah, sounds like you got another video to put out. Refresh it.
Plenty of videos to put out.
Yeah. I know.
I think I've got a couple of Galvo fiber videos, but none of them I don't think really. I don't go off in the weeds with it too much.
You don't go off in the weeds?
Mm-mm. No, because I don't like to get too. Because I'm just, a lot of times when I'm talking about this stuff, heck, I'm just learning. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too complex and down into the nuts and bolts of it, because a lot of times I'm just learning and I haven't really used that technique over and over to say for sure that it's the right way or not. Let's see.
Howdy, Cody.
Cody, say something. It was good. We waited on you to get there, Cody. Everybody waited to eat their lunch, waiting on Cody to get there. You never showed up, so we all went hungry that day.
I think Cody needs to come to the Midwest meetup.
Yeah. Hey, let's line it up, man. I'll be in Las Vegas January the 4th through the 9th. We can have it then.
Yeah. That's not quite the Midwest. That's Southwest.
Hey, it's West.
Yeah, but most of the Midwest isn't really in the western part of the United States. So,
Well, that's unfortunate.
Robert Lowe, 4359. That must be some of the numbers they're adding on. Steve, on the OhmTech Polar Light, are you able to control the Z-axis through the move commands in Lightburn? When I try it, it doesn't seem to respond correctly. It just extends all the way. I think you're right. I can get it to autofocus and I can set the Z offset within the layer, but I don't think I'm able to manually raise it up a certain amount. I think I've noticed the same thing you're talking about, but I'd have to check again, but that does sound familiar.
Do you have it set to like relative Z moves only?
Yeah.
and I know also, I don't know if y'all have to use it with the polar light or not, but there's a little checkbox that you're supposed to check if it's a polar.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't figure out what it changes because I've tried it with and without it on mine, and it doesn't really seem to change anything. So.
Yeah, Chris says sanding is a skill. I keep oversanding. Definitely is. That's why get decent sandpaper and remember to change it out as needed or clean it out as needed. You really shouldn't have to push in too much, but you do have to let the sandpaper do the work. It's kind of like letting the bandsaw do the cutting and not pushing it, not forcing it through. But it's a thing everybody hates, so they want to get it done quickly.
Yep. Tony says everyone should hit the like button. And I mean, I agree. I agree with Tony on that one. Steve says, Cody, your 1/8 downcut Genie bit is killer. And I would agree. I like me some Genie bits. To me, they are, I mean, I do have some cheaper bits that I use when I'm torture testing machines sometimes, keep breaking my good ones. But when I'm doing projects and I need a good bit, Cody's is the ones I go to. Now, if Cody doesn't sell it, I do go to other companies and buy bits occasionally because he doesn't have every single bit just yet. But yeah, if you haven't gotten bits or if you need bits, go check him out. Cody's Manufacturing, Cody Genie Bits.
Yep.
And yeah, Cody, I got you 3 more customers this past week. Send them your way. One of them's machine already has Genie stickers all over it. So
which style though?
It was the older paper one. It was on that one. Hey, I got me some new ones. I had to order some more bits the other day, and I had to move my spindle on my Shapeoko when I was having that issue of it leaving lines, and I was trying to figure out what it was. I moved my spindle and had to peel the sticker off, so Cody sent me some more, so I got plenty of Genie stickers now.
Yeah. No, I was running the both the 1/8 compression bit and the down cut bit today on some projects with the Atom Stack C4. Finally got that somewhat working all right.
So did you exercise it enough that it's working now?
Hopefully. Atom Stack sent me a break-in file. It's just like run this thing for
6 hours,
6 to 7 hours.
Unless you speed it up. I got mine down to 4.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to let it do its thing, but it goes corner to corner and then drops down the Z and up on one corner and slowly ramps the speed up. But while it was doing that, I was also working at cleaning the sticky mess off the lead screws.
The Cosmoline.
Yeah, and then re-oiling it and then wiping it off, and as it worked through, they were obviously getting dirty from working in. So it seems to be working okay today. I'm gonna let it sit and cool down, fire it up again tomorrow and see. But hopefully then I'll be able to actually get some things done with it. But yeah, those bits were working well. Always have.
Yeah, mine was doing good, and then I went through a little spell where it wasn't. But yeah, you can see it. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I've been pausing it, but it's over there doing that, and that's at 100% of what it says you're supposed to. What it says you're supposed to run it. I'll show you here.
Yeah, Mark, it's a good way to do it when you can. Well, for sanding, you gotta basically mark the area that you're wanting to sand with the pencil. Just kind of put a squiggle across it, and as that disappears, stop, go to your next grid, mark it again, stop, go to basically rinse and repeat till you get to the grit and the surface quality you're looking for. So sanding is a frustrating thing that everybody rushes.
Yeah. Now I didn't take the spindle off of mine because I was like, I'll try it and see. I started my own. Basically, I did a 30 millimeter deep outer perimeter profile cut, and I set it to do like 1/10 of a millimeter passes. I did that for the longest to get the X and the Y limbered up real good, and then I started running the one that they sent, and it hasn't hung up lately. But now, and I've been slowly like trying to hold the spindle just every now and then to see how it does, and it's doing better.
Yeah.
So, but I still think that this is something that they should fix it to where you don't have to do this as an end user. But that's just me. But
Yeah, I mean, we got some early machines. Maybe they'll clean up the manufacturing and not have that issue because, yeah, nothing worse than getting your machine and say, okay, now run this thing for a day.
yeah, before you put it all the way together, run this.
But,
yeah, and I think a lot of the problem is whatever was on those lead screws. When they when they purchased them, it was probably already on them from the factory to keep them from rusting, if I was guessing.
Probably, yeah.
And they just cut them to length and put the machines together. But I think this is going to be something that they're going to have to take, and after they cut those lead screws, run them through a vat, hit them on a buffing wheel, something to get the stuff off of them, and then maybe dip them in some oil or something, and then put them out to reship. So, but yeah, it's this one. I've been spraying it down with some decent silicone lubricant from PB Blaster, and just letting it run. And man, it was dripping black stuff off of it the first little while, but now it's got to where it's just moving. So it's not bad. I'm hoping it fixes it. The machine is built like a tank. That's what surprised me about the fact that it was doing what it was doing. I'm like, this machine is built like a tank. So I think it'll do good if this problem resolves itself.
Yeah. Still hoping they come out with a regular 65 millimeter mount, though.
Oh yeah.
So that'd be the final upgrade option on that one. So
yeah. Stevie Massey says, I'm sure both of you have said this before, but how long have you been doing lasering? Steve started before I did, and I don't know exactly when it was. I haven't been doing it that long. I just do a lot of it.
Lasers, I got my first CO2 laser a little over 10 years ago. I had been looking at it. I had been working with a CNC router for 2 or 3 years before that and wanted to add the capability of lasering because I was both wanting to develop and also work on some R&D for a couple of companies with model airplane stuff. And so I was looking at what was out there and started on that path of like, oh, look, here's this cheap K40 for, I think at the time they were $250, but then I was reading all the things you need to do to them to make them really functional. And then I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend $1,000, $1,500, I might as well get one of these bigger ones. And then I'm like, well, if I spend a little bit more, I can get one that actually will fit at least 24-inch sheets of balsa. So that's how I ended up with my original no-name eBay red and black 60-watt laser, which was a 60-watt power supply with a 50-watt tube. But yeah, that got me started in that. And then my first diode would have been about 3.5 years ago, somewhere around there.
Mine was purchased November the 15th of 2021. So
okay, so yeah, about that time. 4 years. Wow, it's been 4 years.
Yeah. My first one was November the 15th of 2021. That is the date on my Amazon order where I ordered my X-Tool D1 10-watt, the OG X-Tool.
So, but yeah, the first like CNC type machine I had looked at was called the flat printer, and it was oddly enough, it was a roller fed machine. So you took a Dremel and it went back and forth kind of like a printer, and then it had a Z axis for up and down, and then it had rollers that would feed foam material through it. And so I was actually looking at that as a machine to be able to cut out foam airplane parts on. But then like my friend Mike was like, I got something better for you. Like, why don't you come check this out? So, and the flat printer basically turned into open builds and their whole thing. Unfortunately, they shut down this year, but
Chris says you lasered the nameplates for the stalls on Noah's Ark.
not quite.
No, I didn't get into it. Like I said, 2021 is when I got into it, but it was it was not with the intentions of being where I am today. That that was like getting swept away by the flood currents or something. I mean, it just happened by accident. But yeah, this is what I've been using to get this thing moving, and hopefully it's gonna like not accumulate as much dust. I'm hoping, maybe we'll see. Silicone's supposed to be good for that. I don't know. I figured I'd try it. They didn't send us anything with the machine. I've got the 3-in-1. I thought I liked 3-in-1, but I was a little worried that the 3-in-1 underneath the CNC bed might gather a little oil. So I was going to try this. If this doesn't work, then I'll just go back to my old faithful 3-in-1. See how it works. But yeah, this is it's slick though. This stuff right here makes stuff slick.
There was another thing that I've tried in the past. Trying to see if I have it up here. But I think it was meant, it's more of like a dry lubricant, but it was meant for like garage door wheels and such.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, having a bit of a dry lubricant that's not going to attract the dirt and the dust is always nice if it works. So.
Yeah. I know I've used that stuff there on power windows in cars and stuff before, because you don't want something that's going to be dripping inside the door and everything, and it worked pretty well for that. So we'll see. Like I said, it's doing much better, so we'll go from there.
Mark has you to blame for everything.
Uh-oh. Mark says I started March 2022 after coming across a YouTube channel of some guy in a funky little shop out in the boonies. Well, that probably would have been me in 2022, because I really didn't start doing laser content online until like December or so after I got my laser, and it was just very basic because I'd gotten a couple of Facebook groups and started posting some pictures, and people were asking questions, and so I take a picture or take a little video and use it to answer a question, and then it just kept growing and growing. So,
yep.
And now here we are. What? It's been 3.5 years. Because it was June of 2022 when my YouTube channel finally hit the monetization criteria. I started posting and like just having fun with it. I was posting like probably for like a year, just sawmill videos and stuff like that. But it was like in April or May, I think, when I actually thought it might actually go get monetized. And here we are now. Where am I at? 40, fixing to be 45, I think. Coming up on it.
Well, you don't look a day over 50.
46,424. I mean, maybe I can hit 50 before the new year. Ow! Sounds a little dry over there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's and we're coming up on 3 years doing this, because it was early December.
Yeah, this is exit. This is episode 152, I think it is.
Yep, or 151, I think.
Yeah, 151. So yeah, it won't be long. We'll be doing our 3rd year anniversary, and Steve's going to be giving away lots of stuff because I'm about gave out right now. I have depleted My giveaway pile.
Well, we do have our Christmas stream that's going to come up, and if you've been following us for the past couple of years, we've kind of had a fun little party giveaway stream right around usually the Sunday before Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we've been working with some of our sponsors and supporters and such to kick in some prizes to send to you all. So we'll be probably kicking off, really pushing that next week, we said the first one in November. So
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, as meetups can happen and as other things, we hit certain milestones and certain things that are shippable, we like to send them out when we can.
Miss Sharon says, hi, all. Sorry I'm late. I was making a pin jig and lost track of time. Miss Sharon says she was looking for a video, trying to do some pins, and I just happened to drop the video. And she said she just wanted to let me know that she nailed it perfectly the first time. So good job. Yeah. Once you figure out and wrap your mind around exactly what you're trying to accomplish, jigs are not that complicated. You just basically, you just got to tie everything together. You got to have the physical, the work area, the file, everything needs to be like consistent and like indexed upon each other. And once you do that, it's really hard to go wrong with them, unless you do like I did and like slide your panel too far up and not paying attention. But that happens a lot. Believe it or not, I make a lot more mistakes when I'm videoing stuff than I do when I'm not videoing stuff. Because when you're not videoing, you're not thinking about where's the camera? Am I bumping up against the microphone? Am I, standing in the way of the camera? I mean, you've got so much going on when you're videoing stuff that a lot of times you just mess up more. So, but good deal, Miss Sharon. Glad you got it. Glad you got it working. I'm going to put some lubrication on that. Hang on.
Well, speaking of that, Dave Groves recommending Super Lube multi-purpose synthetic grease. Grade 2 is used on the X1C, the We Create, and the P2S. So if it keeps doing that, maybe you got to pick up some of that. And I agree, that high frequency, hopefully not too many people are on headphones. Steve Massey's, I'm running my 20-watt We Create while watching, and I keep checking to see why it's squeaking so much. Yeah, those machines have had, they every so often they have that squeak, which sounds eerily like David's CNC machine right now. So I can see how that can be throwing you off.
I've got some Xing Ping around here somewhere I can put on it.
Chris says he's slowly upgrading jigs from ply to 3D printed, size permitting. Yeah, I mean, when you got the tools and might as well. Plywood can be prone to moisture and such. So, the 3D printed is probably a little more stable, although some of them can still absorb some moisture and have some slight characteristics, but not anywhere near as wood. So
Guess I could pause that until we get through here. If it's bad. It may not do it no more. It may be done with that now that I put a little juice on it.
Brian says he watches the other clock channel to see what Brandy makes him do next.
Yeah, I've been having some fun over there. I replaced the fans in the bathrooms, and because they were making noises, and I went on Amazon, and I'm be honest with you, I think somebody had marked the prices wrong, because I went on there today when I was doing my video and pulled a link for them, and they were like $46. So I'm thinking when I ordered mine, somebody had them marked wrong, because mine were 36 instead of the 37. The factory ones were 37. The ones with the Bluetooth speaker were 36. And of course, I ordered the one with the Bluetooth speaker. So now, if you're in the bathroom and you're just chilling, hanging out, you can play your TikTok videos on the Bluetooth speaker in the ceiling. It's pretty cool. But it's also got a light. Now, the one thing that I will share with you guys, and I thought was kind of funny, is the light on the fan is, like if you go in the bathroom or whatever, the light on the fan, normally there is no light there. Well, now we've got a light right above the throne there. And so what ends up happening is I told Brandy, I kind of feel like I'm an art exhibit or something when I'm in there using the bathroom because it's the toilet is like illuminated. The rest of the bathroom is like dark and the toilet's illuminated. So it's like you're an art exhibit or something on display. So it's kind of neat. It adds that elegance to your visit when you're in there.
See, I can see you being the type of waiting for Brandy to go in there and you're linked to the Bluetooth and start,
Yeah. Oh, well, you say that, but my youngest child apparently takes after me because Mary Carl, her friend, was over this morning and they got up and Mary went in the bathroom. And while she was in there, Emily played something. I don't know what she played through the Bluetooth speaker, but apparently it scared Mary. Because I come out of the living room and she's in there. Emily's standing there holding her phone, laughing, and Mary comes running out of the bathroom. So she didn't know. Apparently, she didn't know we had the speaker, but Emily had schemed this up to scare her with it. So
that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's wild. But I did catch my wife. My wife, gave me a hard time about those when I first bought them. She's like, "Why would we need that?" And this is what I caught going on. Yep, that's her in there jamming. So if you didn't watch the video, go check it out. But yeah, Brandy was in there cleaning today, and she was like, "You know what? She normally just uses her phone to listen to her music while she's cleaning, but today she connected it to the or was that yesterday? Maybe that's yesterday. Maybe today. I can't remember. But she connected it to the Bluetooth. So
I mean, if it's there, you should use
it. Burn Carpenter said he just sat on the throne, put your elbow on your knee, take a picture. Hey, I started to do it. I did sit on it last night and took a picture of myself in the mirror because you can't see what's down below. And my kids were like, "Please tell me you're just sitting on it." Kevin, the light does not strobe. I mean, I guess maybe with some slight modifications, you could make it do that way.
Yeah, it doesn't have the music beat mode.
Yeah, it don't have like beat detection or nothing like that, I don't guess.
Again, that could be kind of dangerous, trying to take a shower, someone starts a rave. Turns black light mode on in strobe.
Yeah, well, the way our bathroom comes off of our bedroom, I told Brandy it's kind of nice because the lights over the sink are so bright. It's like walking into, like the sun. So at least at night, if you need to get up and go in there at night, when you turn that one light on, it's kind of subdued compared to the other ones. So, yeah, but so far it's a hit. Everybody's had fun with it and got a kick out of it.
Well, that's good.
And you don't have to walk in there and listen to it go.
Well, that's even better. Randall's asking, I'm wanting to run an inline fan for laser exhaust. Which speed fan do you recommend for 4-inch or 6-inch duct? Well, if you can, go 6-inch because it'll give you a lot more options from more airflow to multiple machines and such. But minimum, the rating you're trying to get, you want to look at the CFM, and I would say for smaller diode lasers with a small enclosure, you can get by with something maybe in the 200 CFM range, but you really want to be looking at trying to pull 400. And there's a lot of other variables that go into that, size of the ducting and the number of turns and the type of ducting and whatnot. But I would try to get something in that at least in that 400 range. Most likely at that point, you're going to be in a 6-inch fan. And if you can do 6-inch ducting as long as you can, it'll keep that rating up higher. When doing that, try not to use the flexible pipe other than your just kind of your last little bit at the laser. Try to get yourself some straight piping if you can, and then make sure you get everything sealed up nicely. It's not bad to look at blast gates as well. They make them for, like, woodworking uses them for dust control. You can buy those, you can 3D print some, or you can laser cut some designs out there as well. But that can help if you have multiple machines. You can cut one off and just pull from the other, but it also can prevent air coming back in from outside and getting into your environment and your laser enclosure as well.
Yeah.
And keep it as short as you possibly can.
Steve saying, but does the fan work? Yeah, it's the same exact model. It's the same fan as what was in the house when they built it. Newtone, I think, is the name brand of it. Yeah, the motor and everything was the same. It was just, that was literally just the cover that goes over the top of it, like the little grill.
Yeah, I need to replace ours in the basement as well, but I'm not wanting one. I saved
$1, man.
I have 3 boys between the ages of, well, he's going to be 17 and 21. And the amount of time that gets spent, I grew up with 2 older sisters, so I'm used to like bathroom time being, take it when you can get it. I don't need to give them another reason to stay in there longer. So I want to take the heater out of the exhaust fan we have, just so that to chill them out. I'm going to put some remote valves on there so I can turn off the hot water,
Rob Fights asking, to get a clean cut, is it best to do multiple passes at lower power and faster speed? It depends. The disadvantage to doing multiple passes is if you don't cut through all the way on that first pass, the gases and the soot and stuff is not going to go through the bottom of the material into underneath the honeycomb. It's going to actually come back out of the cut because the cut didn't go all the way through. And so you can, depending on the machine, the amount of air pressure you're using, the material, you can actually get more scorching and discoloration that way than if you slow down enough to punch all the way through the material. Because if you punch all the way through the material and your air assist is properly tuned and doing what it's supposed to, it's going to force all those gases and stuff really fast out the back of the material. And when it does that, that's when you get that nice caramelized look instead of that dark black finish around the edges. Because what's happening is that air assist is strong enough to blow all those little particulates out the back instead of just setting them in there and letting them cook. So what say you there, Steve?
Yeah, no, it's always best if you can get it through in a single pass. That being said, if you're having to go too slow to make it through in a single pass, you are going to risk charring the edges more than you would with multiple passes. So for me, I think you and I have kind of agreed on that. You get around that 6 millimeters a second speed is kind of the, don't go slower than it. Yeah. And even then, you might be pushing it. At that point, then, going faster, adding multiple passes to keep things moving is going to have less of a tendency to have stuff sit there and charring. So I always try to get through in one pass unless it's too slow and I'm starting to risk, ignition and flaming and such of gases. Then I'll speed it up and usually I'll jump. I won't just double the passes. I'll try to go from 6 to like 15 and maybe add 4 passes or something like that.
Yeah.
Brian says a Bluetooth speaker means I can give him a countdown timer until the water shuts off. I suppose, but
yeah.
Somehow I'm not sure that would work in my favor. So, and Chris says I could, instead of a mini split, just heater extraction from the bathroom. That'd be a bit of a pipe to run. A detached shop out here. I'd have to bury it down below the frost line and all that jazz.
Yeah.
That's one thing when I was building this shop, I was very much on a budget because I wasn't planning on doing this. Weird series of events kind of forced my hand. I really wish, even though I maybe wouldn't have had the money to put it in at the time, but in-floor heating would have been really nice to add the piping in, even if I had to add the boiler water heater later, which would have taken up space, but that would have been.
I guess you could just like move everything outside and pour like 3 more inches of concrete in there. And
I don't think the city's going to go for that.
Get you a jackhammer and just.
No, I'm good. Some things are just a little too expensive.
Yeah, I'm just trying to save up my pennies to where I can get me another shop because mine is very cramped.
Layered electric flooring.
There you go.
One step at a time. I'm hoping that eventually get them on their own, enjoy at least a few years, empty nesters. But I say that and then I'll miss some, I know, but it was funny. I came across a Facebook memory on my personal page that was something like, the next person that tells me to cherish these moments, I'm sending my kids home with you. And this is back when they were like, toddlers.
Yeah.
So I was kind of chuckling at that one.
Mercy.
But, well, we're coming up just almost up to 2 hours. So any final questions or?
Hour and 57 minutes. Questions, comments, or concerns? So what you got planned this week, Steve?
Got to hide from people on Halloween this Friday. I'm kind of working through a few things. I got some CNC. I'm doing some projects on the Atom Stack CNC. So
I hope I can get mine back going. I want to do one more on it.
Yeah. So I've been running that. I've been, of course, trying to get my feet wet with this, as well as I've been running the Sculpt Fun 20-watt IR module on the A9 laser to kind of get a feel for that. So between those three, I'll have some fun stuff coming out. And I do have some other projects in mind to be playing around with. We'll see when they hit. Some of them may be big, but yeah, Philip, this was on there. It was the X-Tool P3, 80 watt CO2. But yeah, trying to get through all those before the bad weather hits. We'll see. I do have a tree company coming to trim some of my trees and take down my neighbor's tree, and they have to like use my yard to get at it. So if that happens this week, that'll kind of interrupt me. I'll have to put like a time lapse on that or something. But no, trying to get through some of these things, and yeah, it'll be Halloween, and then next time we see everyone, it'll be November. It's crazy.
That didn't work.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to do something that didn't work.
I see that. You're impersonating me. Among
there
other
we go.
things.
Maybe it'll work this time.
And a time change. That's right. Daylight savings time ends next weekend, doesn't it?
I'll be glad, because it's been getting dark here like early.
Well, it's going to get dark earlier when daylight savings ends.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it does. I was thinking it was the other way.
No,
it's falling back.
I hate standard time.
It's falling backwards
because I'm gonna be like leaving work and it'll be dark.
Yeah,
but
Ryan said you're gonna dress up as you for Christmas or Halloween. I mean, why did I say Christmas? I don't know. It's been a long week.
Speaking of Ryan, if you guys are getting in the festive mood, he is doing the Ranger CNC Christmas Challenge over on his channel and with their Saturday night, making it up as they go. So if I remember right, it has to be something that you design, you create, and you have to use your 3D printer or laser or CNC router or possibly a robot lawnmower. And I'm thinking he's wanting some sort of lighted aspect to it, like a tea light or some string lights or something to it. So if you're feeling creative, he's going to be giving away some Amazon gift cards, I believe. And it's always fun seeing those videos. You and I judged it last year when it was still the Gatton Christmas Challenge.
Yeah. Had a good time with it.
So if you're feeling creative and want to support his channel and have some fun, go check that out. He's got all the information over on his channel and his site. So
but yeah, it's going to be a busy week of work and being in the office for me here at the shack this week. So I've got a couple of things I'm trying to work through. There will be some videos coming out. I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys this week that y'all probably didn't see coming, and some projects hopefully. So if you got anything that you need like help with that you think might make a good project, shoot me an email or drop a comment. Let me know. Because now that I've got a little more time, I'm trying to do a little more targeted videos towards things that people are having issues with. That was the reason I did the pin jig thing was I kept getting a lot of people messaging me saying, hey, I know this is supposed to be simple, but I'm just really having a hard time, getting it to stick. And so I decided, since I was doing the pins from the event anyway, I would take the extra time and record it and try to make a video out of it for you guys to try to, because sometimes it takes that one little aha moment and you're like, okay, I got it. And so that's what I was kind of hoping for. And I've had a couple people tell me that it did that for them. And so that's it makes it worth it. So if you have anything that you've been struggling with, shoot us a comment, let me know. And I'll try to come up with a video for it if I can.
I've been struggling with the fact that they won't let me retire for quite a few years yet. So if you got something there,
yeah, I'll get you. I'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good. I'm going to argue here. Daylight savings time doesn't suck. The change sucks, and standard time is what really sucks. Because if we were on standard time in the summer, the sun would be coming up at something like 5 a.m. I don't need that. I need my evening hours. So I want to stay on daylight savings time and never go back to standard. So that's my soapbox.
Yeah. Yeah. If you give me more time in the morning like that, I'm never gonna see it because I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock just because I got an extra hour. It's not happening.
Yeah, no.
Not happening.
Give it to me in the evening. I don't need the sun coming up and the birds chirping and the cats thinking they need to be fed that early. So.
Yeah. All right, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, y'all have a good one. We appreciate it. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next Sunday.
See you, everyone.